Hey there, it's Dave from Scribe, the master of time, if you like. And today I'm back to react or discuss another reactor's reaction to our song Raising the Dead. This has been Mike, one of the Patreons, who's just been a big supporter of the band, and also of me personally on the Dave Does channel, and of course over on ADK rock and metal. He's been spreading the word. So we've had lots of people do lots of reactions, and as a way of thank you, and also to answer any of the questions, I like to react to their reactions and answer anything or comment on their commentary. Now, I have got a few of these going on today, so there's been quite a few different reactors or video channels reacting to Raising the Dead, so I might end up repeating myself, but I'm going to definitely answer every question or every topic they raise. Today we're going to be checking out Michal, who is a vocal coach. Really cool to get a vocal coach talking about it, because obviously we like to get feedback on Kim's vocals for the band. So yeah, I'm going to watch the video. We'll pause it if I need to, as and when, if there's something specifically to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to watch it and then discuss it all at the end. It's quite a long video. It's 15 minutes long, so we're just going to play it and get into it. So let's go.
Hello there, singing friends. Welcome back to my Patreon. I kind of look like a lunatic right now. I have a pineapple on top of my head. I'm wearing my running clothes, and life has just been really, really crazy recently. It's been like marathon days. That's why I'm wearing my running shirt now. And I'm filming this at night. As you can probably see, it's really dark outside, but I wanted to get something out to you guys.
Like her personality, so just really chilled, really relaxed. Not fake at all, which you do get with some reactors. I'm very much of a genuine, so even if she doesn't like the song, as long as she's honest in it, I absolutely appreciate the opinion. And yeah, same here. So this is rather than evenings, I'm a morning reactor, so I tend to do mine at 5 o'clock in the morning, which it is at the moment. And it's funny, we try to fit this into the times of day when we're not doing everything else, because as most reactors know, you don't really make a lot of money, if you make any money at all. We do it for the love of it and just as a creative outlet. So yeah, let's keep going. Sorry, I'll try not to interrupt you too much.
And so yeah, so you're getting what you get. As I tell my kids, you get what you get and you don't get upset. I did put on some mascara for you guys, but that's about as good as it's gonna get today. But I am excited to do this reaction video for Mike, and he wrote, "This is a British band called Teller's Scribe. The song is Raising the Dead. The self-produced video is very clever and features all of the band members in the story. The doctor on the left with hair is the drummer, Dave Brett. The first body snatcher we see at the beginning, ooh, with a large black beard, is the lead guitar player, Michael Marino. The first guy who joins him is the bass player, Dan Tuck. The singer, Kim Stacy Marino, is the courtesan in the bright red cloak, and the rhythm guitar player, Yusuf Dervish, is the corpse."
And there's two other people involved in this video as well, which just that are not band members. We have Chloe, who's the partner of Dan, the bass player. She's the other courtesan. And we have Andy, who anyone that follows us on or follows me over on the ADK Rock and Metal channel will also know him from the ADK Rock and Metal. He is the other surgeon in the video. So yeah, let's keep going on it.
Sounds really cool. Other characters are friends of the band members. Be sure to watch all the way past the credits for a small Easter egg, a funny ending. And he also wrote, "The drummer, Dave Brett, is also a reactor, incidentally." Cool. And then he also sent the lyrics. So let's read the lyrics. Okay, so
That's one thing I'm really bad as a reactor. I hardly ever read lyrics, just because whenever I hear a song for the first time, I never have the lyrics to hand. So I try to just judge a song on its first impressions based on that, and then I can always go into the lyrics later on. But I usually try to for me personally, I like to just let the video tell the story, and so I don't have to rely on the lyrics as much. But I think from a vocal point of view, especially if you're a vocal coach, you're more into the lyrics to understand the cleverness of them, whereas I think as a drummer, I tend to be more into the musical and the ride or the vibe. I don't know, maybe that's me, I don't know. Let's keep going.
the song again is called Raising the Dead, and the lyrics are, "Fresh from the gallows, from the hangman's noose, the masters of anatomy running low on cadavers, Bodies in short supply and will pay a pretty penny. And then the chorus is, 300 years of resurrection, who owns your body when you are dead? The fresher, the better, more cash in your hand. Will you turn to murder to fill your quota? In the dead of the night, the body snatchers come creeping. Night watchers mourn for money, watching for traps laid. The poor, the most vulnerable, buried in shallow graves. 1832 became the body snatcher's end, but what became of those claimed by anatomists' hands? Articulated corpses, a dancing teacher's tool, jumbled parts reburied in no particular place, specimens in jars with no names or face. I and they, and then he wrote that he's looking forward to hearing my thoughts on the song. Sorry, I thought that was part of the lyrics. All right, so very cool. I mean, obviously, there were historical cases of body snatchers. And I think even Michelangelo, in his book, The Agony and the Ecstasy, talks about how he used corpses to learn about anatomy for his artwork. And obviously, there's still a need for corpses for science, for dissection, and, you know, for medical training and everything else. And there are still cases where the privilege is abused, right? I think in the bodies exhibit, that was like a big hit. There were some claims that the bodies that were used in that weren't necessarily taken with the proper consent. And also recently I read a case about people who had donated their loved ones' remains for science, and then they found out that they were not used for the things that they thought they were going to be used for, and they were experimented upon and all sorts of things, and not disposed of with the proper respect. So, you know, it is an issue, right? That we do need human bodies for various things, and there is kind of this black market. So it's a very cool concept. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment there because it was getting rather noisy upstairs, and then somebody came in through the garage. So just working around the chaos of the house. Okay, so here we go. This is a British band, Scribe, with their song Raising the Dead. Drummer Dave Brett, lead guitar player Michael Marino, bass player Dan Tuck, and singer Kim Stacy Marino. I guess maybe they're married. And then the rhythm guitar player Yusuf Dervish. Here we go. Very cool so far. I'm just going to pause it for a moment there. So I really love the high energy. The video is super cool, especially considering, you know, people are making so much music nowadays and everybody likes to do their own media as much as possible and not spend a ton of money hiring outside companies to do it. And so you get a lot of videos that are very simple. They're not high concept, they're not high quality. This is really cool. This is like a real story and it's got really exciting visuals. And so it really draws you in and tells a story. And I love that that piece is very high quality as well as the music. And then in terms of singing, I really like, I think her name is Kim, her voice. Let me just make sure that I'm not misnaming her here. Yeah, Kim Stacy Marino. She has a really strong voice, and I really like how she's using her break a little bit, you know, where that like that kind of like break where you're going from chest voice to head voice and using that as like an artistic flip. And she also sings with like almost like an accent a little bit, and it's not a super like heavy tone, like it's not really open throated, but it's not particularly bright either. So it has a really nice placement in terms of her tonality. It's very pleasant to listen to. So far I really like it. And I also like the complexity of the arrangement and how there have already been like 3 different sections of the song and they've all been quite different, but cohesive at the same time. So far very, very cool.
Okay, so I'll just kind of touch base on a few of those things if I can. So anyone that knows us will know that generally with the concept with Tell Scribe is we want to be storytellers. Hence the tellers of tales, scribers of tales. And so it was very important for us. This was the first music video we did. It was very important we had an idea. It was a song I wrote, Raising the Dead. And presented to the band when we first kind of put the band together, and it was the first one that kind of came together pretty much as is. So musically, it was all written with just solos needed to be added, and then vocally, I think the chorus, the "Raising the Dead" bit, was basically there. Your time is coming. That line was already written in the song, and then Kim wrote the rest of the lyrics and changed it, and kind of changed some of the counter melodies, etc. But the vibe was very much there for the song, and we had this idea. Obviously, as she rightly said, it's all about the grave robbers of like the 19th century, and before the act was put into place to stop that and make it illegal. So, or to allow medical experiments to be done on natural cadavers, etc., rather than ones that were sold for medical experimentation. So there was no money in it anymore. And so we had this idea. We shot this at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning in Cambridge because there were some really cool old streets, and we shot it in the morning and had this story concept in our head. Vocally, it's a really difficult one for me to talk about because everyone in the band has their own place. So we all come up with our own parts. There's no kind of dictating, you will do it this way, or so when we put this out there, Kim will come back with any song. She'll come back with a vocal line, and we just let her work on it until she gets to like the full demo stage, presents it back, and she'll give a few options to the band, and then we will kind of go, really like what you're doing there, really like what this is. This bit's not quite settled. But really, there's pretty much free reign. I do the same with the drums, guitars. They go off and they do their thing. Bass is all, so everyone has their idea, and it all just kind of, it's all about serving the song. And she's got very natural. She keeps it very natural. Doesn't use any real effects on voices. I know some vocalists like to use like effects pedals and have lots of reverb or a bit of delay on it, and she's pretty much pretty dry, I think, in her mix. She pretty much leaves. I think every time we've done a show and the sound guys ask what would you like, she's like, leave with you, whatever you think sounds best. She's got no preferences on those. If you're really interested, she also does the other band, which she does with Mike and Dan, which is Scarlet Envy, which has a slightly different vibe to Tell Scribe, but is it within the same sort of genre. We've played on the same bill with them, so it's been interesting for them to do double up. But and video wise, we as it was the first one, we wanted it to treat it like a 1970s drama horror, kind of like that kind of Hammer horror vibe to it. So we wanted to put the certain filters on it, which is kind of why we did it. And we did that whole kind of shot in Technicolor because there was always that sort of thing in the 60s and 70s, making a big thing about it. So okay, let's keep going.
you hear that, right? That's the flip that I'm talking about. And there is some like forward placed like masking in the dead of the night. It's a little bit more bright than dark, her tone, but very cool. It almost has like a little bit of that like Dolores O'Riordan flavor to it, you know, and obviously my mind went there because of the flipping, and that's what Dolores is famous for, like with Zombie, you know. But there is something that's a little bit similar about her singing. Very, very nice. I really like her voice.
Money watching for traps laid. Oh, the most vulnerable. Buried in shadow rays. Your time is coming. Your body's in our hands. Better start running. Because we're raising the dead. 100 years of a resurrection. Who wants your body when you are dead? The fresher, the better, more cash in your hand. Will you turn to murder to fill your quota?
Became the body snatcher's end. What became of the lost claim by anonymous hands? Articulating corpses or dancing teachers too. Shovel poetry buried in no particular place. Specimens in jars with no name or face.
Cool, very, very cool. So I've talked about before how when people speak in songs, not like rapping, but just like sing speaking, it's actually really hard to sound cool, you know? Like I've definitely tried it in some of my songs and it like really doesn't work for me. It's not my thing. But I think it's a really admirable skill when you can like pull it off, you know? And it's funny if you were to just speak, obviously there would be dissonances because you speak with a certain pitch of your voice. And so you have to kind of find notes that are within the proper pitches that go with the underlying chords. And so she's doing very nicely with that. You know, she's speaking, but it's all kind of like in the correct pitch to be not dissonant with the underlying melody. Yeah, and I really like thematically how it's not just like these random images, it's really telling a story. You know, like they said there were like these fake mourners that then would like signal to their accomplices to come and rob the bodies, and you saw that with the two women. It's all very, very well done and very cohesive, and you can like really follow the story, which is very cool.
Time is coming. Your body's in our hands. Better start running. Because we're raising the dead. 100 years of a resurrection. Who owns your body when you are dead? The fresher, the better, more cash in your hand. Will you turn to murder to fill your quota?
Cute. Very, very cool. I loved it, especially since we're coming up on spooky season now. Halloween is absolutely my favorite holiday of the year. I love the imagination and that you can be anyone. It's a really fun, safe way to try on different personas, which I think is so valuable in performance and creativity in music, obviously. So I love that that's, you know, the theme of this video, and it's so well done. Also, you guys probably know this about me already. I love graveyards. They're one of my favorite places to hang out because they're so peaceful. And I think it's really interesting as a society that we really don't think about death that much, and it's kind of brushed to the side. You don't think about it until you absolutely have to. And I think that that creates this really unhealthy fear, whereas other cultures are much more accepting and embracing as that that death is a part of life, that it's this natural stage that everybody comes to, that everybody in history has gone through. And so it's not something to be feared, it's actually something to be respected and celebrated, that you celebrate the person's life and your history and your heritage and your ancestors and all these things. So I love anything to do with graveyards and death. I think it's really interesting and it's very topical for this time of year. So I thought it was really interesting, very cool. I love lyrics that tell a real story and aren't just run-of-the-mill, very simple, you know. And I think this song definitely does that, and the visuals follow that really nicely and evoke a real cool story that you can really follow along, and was very well thought out and cohesive. So I thought it was awesome. Very, very cool. I'm glad to know this band and will definitely be interested in hearing more of their stuff. Thank you for suggesting it, Mike, and I hope that you enjoyed my reaction. Until next time, take care. And of course, happy singing, and hopefully I'll be back sooner rather than later. Bye for now.
Okay, there we go. So just a big thank you for doing the reaction, first of all. It's I mean, as a reactor myself, it's you're always trying to pick the reactions that are going to give you the audience bump, the view numbers, and doing unknown bands is never going to do that, but it's a good thing to do for your Patreons, etc. And it's also from an integrity point of view, because you really, personally, you want to discover new music, you want to discover new bands and find it more interesting. You could easily just go and do reactions to baby metal 7 days a week and get loads of views and loads of subscribers, but it's not really, having done that, it's not very fulfilling just doing that. It's nice to go and do them from time to time, but you kind of want to, you just want to discover bands and talk about it, and it's great to talk about music. I thought the reaction was good in the sense that very natural, tying it into topics within the, not just focusing on the video, but talking about obviously how the focus on death, graveyards. I thought that was cool, and just being very personal. It's just a great way for a reactor to be, because it's just very honest and it engages with the audience. So that's what you want. You want to be an honest, engaging reactor. Make it personal. And you kind of cover the topic. So yeah, I'm trying not to, I'm not going to elaborate on anything more unless it was raised specifically in the video, because I've got 2 more videos of 2 more reactors that have also been doing, who also checked out Raising the Dead. So I just in case they cover a different topic, we'll wait for those videos and see what I did. But yeah, you picked up some good stuff on the vocals. Really, Kim should have been on this video to do it with me, but she's a busy lady. She's got 2 bands to worry about. Mind you, so do we all at this point in time. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do check, if you get a chance to come and check us out at any of our shows, please do. We're about to start writing, well, we actually have already started writing the new album. And obviously the album 1 was Myths, Legends and Lore. This is all kind of Once Upon a Time. This is volume 2, Once Upon a Time. We'll be taking a look at some of the grim tales. So yeah, should be very interesting. Thank you very much for watching. See you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.